Hello, Spectrumites and other people. Welcome to the first official episode of The Pancake King, Life and Marriage on the Spectrum. In this podcast, I'm going to give you insights on the autism spectrum, break down some of the myths surrounding it, tell you stories about my experiences on the spectrum as well as the marriage I have with someone else on the spectrum, and allow you to have a window into my life through conversations I have with friends and family. Most importantly, I hope you learn something from this series as well as have fun listening to it. The world is a very chaotic and scary place right now, and we all need some solace to escape to. I know I do sometimes. I'm hoping I can be that for you, both through informing and entertaining. So with that being said, let's get started. To start things off, my name is Forrest, and I am the host of this podcast. I probably should have said that at the very beginning, but that's just kind of yet another example of things that people on the spectrum can do wrong. We can be a little bit disorganized despite our ability to very much organize. But to kick things off, I was first diagnosed on the autism spectrum on June 25th, 2015. I have high-functioning autism, so basically Asperger's, which is a word that's not used anymore in diagnosis procedures. Nevertheless, it used to exist. So therefore, I will say Asperger's. I spent some time after reading the diagnosis report feeling sort of devastated, which might surprise you a little bit. My parents already suspected I was on the spectrum long before I got the diagnosis, so they thought I would be relieved to finally get clarification on what I had, what was a part of me. So imagine their surprise when they found out I spent long periods of time thinking it over and rereading it as if I couldn't believe what was actually written. I learned later that the problem wasn't actually the report itself, it was the way I chose to take in its information. It was, 20 pages long from what I remember, and I read those 20 pages over and over and over again. You could say I was getting a little bit obsessed with it, which obsession can sort of be a trait when it comes to the autism spectrum. The truth is that report was probably one of the greatest things ever given to me, but I was too absorbed in a negative perspective to see it that way. I saw it as an obstacle, a hindrance, and a reason for depression when I should have seen it as a new opportunity to better understand what to do moving forward in my life, and obtain a better understanding of myself. I don't mean for the report to define me as a whole, but I choose to embrace it as a part of myself like I should. So, before I go any further with this, if you don't know what autism even means, you're in luck. I figured I'd describe it here in the first episode. Autism is a developmental disorder or mental condition that's characterized by difficulty with social interaction, obsessive interests, and repetitive behaviors, among other things. This is something that has affected 1 in 68 children in America today, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It's a part of a lot of people that is unfortunately disregarded and not given as much attention as it should be getting, even now. What may appear to be a serious hindrance in the lives of the people that have autism can actually be a great advantage for that person. Some of those advantages are things like high intelligence, excellent memory, and an ability to focus on a single topic. Sometimes to a fault, but definitely sometimes not. So that's the kind of note I want to leave you with on this brief first episode. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to refer to autistic people in this show as spectrumites, which is in no way implying that I think of them as parasites. That would imply that I see myself as a parasite too. I am not. I am a Homo sapien. Anyway, spectrumites can struggle with the conclusion that they're on the spectrum, and I fully understand that. It makes you question how this will change your life moving forward, and I can tell you from firsthand and secondhand experience, spectrumites hate change. They hate unpredictability. The encouraging part, though, is that acceptance of yourself on the spectrum is possible, and the sooner you're able to accept your differences, the sooner you can turn it into an advantage. Maybe make a podcast about it. That's something a lot of people make these days. And podcasts about this type of stuff, honestly, we need more of this type of stuff in the market right now. And that's one of the reasons why I'm making this show. So don't be scared of your autism. Don't feel intimidated by it. If that's you, if you're on the spectrum, don't feel intimidated by it. Instead, embrace it as a part of you without allowing it to fully define you. Then discover what it can do to serve you for the better. You've got this. Gas is $5 a gallon now.
Yes.
If this is inflation, I do not want it. Take it from me. Please. Why does it hurt so much?
Because it is real.
Inflation is bad, and it's affecting all of us. Thankfully, though, this podcast is free to listen to. If you haven't already, subscribe to this podcast, write a review to help the show grow, and subscribe to my Substack at thepancakeking.substack.com to receive updates on new podcast episodes, a new blog post every Saturday, and other content I may put out. You can also check out the entertainment me, my wife, and my friends make together on our YouTube channel, Vanzop Productions. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.